welcome back to another cultural colloquy. And today we have a very special guest, somebody I met through the internet again. And yeah, we can get right into it. You can start by saying your name and what would you say got you to where you are today?
Okay. No, it's fine. My name is Sofia, Randahl, Norschau. I'm from Norway, and I've been in LA for 3 years. But what really got me here was a quarter-life crisis. I did not know what to do with my life, and I was like, well, I want to learn more about acting, and I need a vacation. So here I am.
Cool. Can you speak like a little bit about your acting journey and like your whole process and getting where you are?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my acting journey started with a cosplay convention, and it was a group of friends of mine. They were starting this opening show at this convention, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to be part of this? Do you want to act with us?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to act. I want to be on stage. That sounds fun." And I ended up being part of this group for 5 years.
Wow.
And if it weren't for like a little bit of scheduling conflicts and me also moving to America, I would still be part of that group. And they're doing great.
Yeah.
You should check it out. Colloquy.
Colloquy?
Yeah, you can even find the ones that I was part of on YouTube.
We'll find those and link those down below for sure. But have you found anything like that in America or not really?
Not really.
No.
I guess I haven't been looking well enough for it. I know there are theaters, and I need to get back into it. I miss theater.
Yeah. No, theaters, it's just different. So much different. What does culture look like to you?
It's such a tough question because there's so many small things about like daily life we don't think about.
Yeah.
That makes up culture. Like, I had you take off your shoes when you came in here.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, that's not normal. But I think it's important to be open about it and also understand, like come with understanding for why people will be one way or the other in terms of culture.
Yeah.
And it's also really, really nice when it comes to food because there's so many different dishes and cultures. Oh my god, I can't even speak anymore. In terms of food and flavors that I never heard of before.
Yeah. Like specifically like coming to LA or just in general?
Well, just in general, but I'm a lot more open to it after I moved here because I had been on vacation, but I never lived anywhere else and had to be part of it. Yeah. It was just like looking in at it and then leaving 2 weeks later, you know?
Yeah. It's definitely, would you say like you've had a culture shock?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I totally had a shock moving here. I didn't think I had one, and then I realized, no, I did. So guess where I got my furniture? Just a wild guess. Guess where I got them?
OfferUp?
I got them from IKEA. Because IKEA is Swedish, it's Scandinavian, it's familiar, and I knew it. I mean, I was living on a street where there's so many mattress stores.
Wow.
And all of them looked really sketchy.
Yeah, no, LA mattress stores can be, depending on what neighborhood, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you feel like your place in culture is?
I feel like it's such a tough question, that too, because I want to share my culture. Like, I'm drinking milk and eating bread, and people are like, what? You're a weirdo. Why do you do that? I'm like, well, it's part of the culture that I grew up in. That's part of it.
That seems pretty normal. I don't know.
Right.
That's just me. But
well, some people are very like, no, we don't do that. And then people ask me this stupid question of like the food in Norway, and I'm like, no, it's very similar. It's very similar to like traditional American food. But I feel like when it comes to mindset, that is really where I feel like I need to be more like present, because there's a mindset of like, oh, that's not familiar, so it's dangerous. And of course, I'm a shy person, so I was struggling like what grocery stores to go to and why not. Like 7-Eleven looks really sketchy here compared to Norway, it's really nice in Norway.
Okay.
If you go to Norway, find a 7-Eleven, you're gonna be shocked.
That's
stuff like that, having an open mind and invite and also share. That I feel like that is.
Well, your place is like you feel like you need to share, or not need to, but like
not
you feel
necessarily
this
need
urge to like share your culture and like where you're from.
Yeah, I feel like sharing mine, but also being open for other people to share with me, and then I can share with people from Norway.
Yeah.
So it's more like opening up and creating that bridge between countries instead of having them like have closed borders. Like, we don't need that anymore. The world should be open.
Yeah, no, I think that's important. Just so help people realize, you know, that
exactly
that we're more alike than we think we are.
Exactly.
But no, that's really cool, and I think that's important. That being said, is there anything? It doesn't just have to be like artistic stuff, but like, what are you working on?
Ooh, I'm working on so many things. So now I have a lot of free time.
Okay.
And I'm working on 3 scripts.
Wow.
And they're not going anywhere. They're just on a standstill, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I'm working on a full-length film, and then I'm working on 2 short films.
Wow.
And I'm just like, there's so much work. Like, everything is so clear in my mind how the story is going to unfold.
Yeah.
But putting it down on paper, it's so hard.
It can be, yeah. You know, like, do you feel like you get intimidated by the blank page?
I guess I do.
Yeah.
It's a lot of these things where you're like, no, it's not gonna happen to me. I don't have writer's block. I'm just procrastinating. But that is the writer's block.
Really, yeah. No, I've had similar experiences writing. No, it's really cool. So is there anything else like besides writing that you're working on?
Well, I'm working on creating a better routine for myself, like the discipline part of just since I'm working freelance and it's tough. You are your own boss. You set your own hours to the extent of like, okay, you book a gig, you go, you work. But everything, like getting the jobs, that's all on you.
Yeah.
To wake up in the morning, sit by the computer, find work, or create and put out stuff so people see your work, so they will be like, oh, I want to hire you.
Yeah. I feel like I don't want to make it about me, but do you feel like you have a balance of like putting stuff out and like applying for other people's work, or?
Not at all. Not at all.
Like
I mean, it's not bad when you first get into the habit of doing it, but it's finding the right places. Like there's a lot of Facebook groups for freelance work, and then there's a lot of websites that do offer that sort of work, like entertainment work, especially here in LA.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard of the app Fiverr.
Oh yes,
Fiverr.
I have. I've been thinking about that in terms of graphic design, because
Okay.
that's something I do too.
Damn, I was just gonna suggest it because I have it for my photography and I've gotten hired like through that. So, and you're a way better photographer than me. So I definitely think you need hired. What would you say your biggest success has been this month? Or this year?
I would say getting more and more comfortable talking to people and kind of like bragging about myself, because it's part of it. I don't like bragging about myself and putting that type of work out there, but it's part of it. Like, you have to take your wins, and I'm like, okay, well, I've come this far and I've done a lot of stuff. I can be proud of myself. It's okay, and I can tell people about this too.
Yeah, no, you should be, definitely. I feel like, because like how you said, you're kind of a shy person, and I'm that way too. It's like you're almost humble to a fault.
Yeah.
Or it's like detrimental. Where you don't like show your work to people. What would you say your biggest obstacle has been, and how did you get over it?
I feel like the biggest obstacle not moving to America itself, but making my way back here when I moved to Oklahoma last year. That was tough. That was like am I staying in Oklahoma? Am I trying it there? Am I moving back to Norway, or am I going back here? and it was just with luck. Like, I moved without any work lined up.
Wow.
Couch surfed for 6 weeks, and then I luckily found an apartment and I got approved for it, which is really hard in LA. We all know it. It's not a great place to try to live. But yeah, that was the biggest struggle.
And how do you feel, like, what made you, like, get through that or get over it?
I had a lot of help. I had so many good people around me. And I don't even know how to thank them, because it's just like, you wouldn't expect people to be so kind and just take you in. And then it's like, I don't know how to say thank you. Thank you.
No, that's really cool. That's important.
Exactly.
When you get through things in life. What do you want to accomplish by the end of the year, and what do you feel like you have to do to get there?
I have to prove to this country that I'm worthy.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is my main goal, to be able to stay here, continue working here, sharing my culture, and learning more about the American culture, but not just American, because we're in LA. There's so many people here from all over the world.
For real, yeah. Okay, no, I mean, and I guess you kind of already answered it, but, like, what do you feel like are the steps you have to do to get there? Like, besides for, like, the legal
Well, of course,
stuff.
besides the legal stuff, I mean, as of right now, I'm in this weird bubble where I'm just like, well, I'm here. What can I do? I can still create my own stuff. I can still work on my writing. There's so many things that I can continue doing while I'm waiting.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like
Right.
it's inevitable.
Exactly, but I'm not concerned about it, because I know how I work. I know the people that I work with, and they're like, we want to work with you again, and that should count for something.
No, that says a lot if people like working with you.
Exactly. I'm not a terrible person.
No, definitely not. I can attest to that. What are your passions? What do you love to do?
I love being in nature.
Okay.
Which is a struggle in LA without a car to get to, like, nature. Of course, there are some parks and some hikes you can do, but then it's like actually being surrounded by trees that I miss. Like, going to the beach is nice, but I miss going into the forest.
Yeah, no, it's different, and it's so much better. So much better. What else do you like to do besides? You also mentioned graphic design.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, what I worked with before I fell into the acting world, I was what we call a profile designer, which is graphic design, sign making, big format printing, and wrapping cars.
Okay.
So
you would come up with, like, the designs for the cars?
So people will come in and they're like, oh, I just started my business. This is my business. And then I would design a profile around it, like what colors they would use, what fonts they would use, design their business cards, flyers, menus, whatnot. And then I would even make the stickers for their cars and signs for their office spaces and stuff like that. And by all means, it's such a fun job, and I do miss it. But it was just not, it wasn't working for me back in Norway. So there's something that I'm definitely interested in doing again. And I know in terms of art department, it's part of it. So I actually, when I graduated high school, I got a working title as an interior decorator.
Oh, wow.
And then with the graphic design on top of that, also being a photographer, and then acting and cinematography, I'm like, I have all this, and I can do almost all of the things in a production. And then I'm like, no, I'm going to be an actor.
No, I mean, it's also that's a good thing. It's like you're so multi-talented. It's amazing. Is there anyone, so you love acting the most?
Yeah, that's the favorite.
Okay.
It's just a favorite. But people keep telling me I should be a producer.
I mean, I know actors who produce, like, their own stuff, so both are possible.
Yes.
You know, you could be a producer / actor. Who are your role models, and in what ways have they inspired you?
I want to say my mom.
I love that. Yeah.
Actually, I want to say probably all of my family members, because they all given me their 2 cents about life.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're all really stubborn and have opinions. So it's like, okay, I hear you, but I'm going to do it my way anyways. And by all means, like, that's one thing, but they're all very supportive. We all support each other of what we do. And it's like, okay, I might not agree with you, and I might not think that's the best choice, but it's still like having my family being there, like, we believe in you, you're doing fine, this is amazing what you accomplished so far. I'm like, thank you, because if not, I can only imagine having a family not being supportive.
Wow. So no, it kind of keeps you going. Do you feel like it keeps you going?
Yes, it really does. I know if I really screw up, I can go back and live with my mom for a little bit and my siblings, and then I'll climb back up again. Like, I know I'll be fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I love that for you. Is there an end goal to the art that you create?
I don't think there's an end goal, and that sounds really scary, but I guess it's just because I'm so scared of the permanent. So I'm like, temporary, okay, everything is temporary.
Yeah.
And that is what keeps me going.
Interesting.
But for me, what I create, the art, it's all about giving a voice to people that don't necessarily have it, and tell stories that do shock and inspire people. So there's no end. It's just gonna keep going until there's no more me.
No, I love that. I feel like even after that, like your work will still live on, and people will still be inspired by it. I'm sure. I'm sure. What would the title to a film about your life be?
How far do you really have to go to achieve your goals, or something like that? I don't know, something like that. I feel like it's how far, and then ...
No, I like that. It's makes you think.
Mhm.
Makes you think. I would watch that. How far? Interesting. Okay. What art form do you feel helps you make sense of your life and the world around you, and in what ways?
Wait, can you ask that again?
Well, like, what art form do you feel helps you make sense of your life and the world around you?
Ooh. I can't really pick just one.
Okay, no, that's fine. You can list.
I really love music. If I had to pick just one art form, it would be music, even though I'm not a musician, because I'm always surrounded by some sort of music, whether that be the noise from outside. That's music to me. I lived in a really quiet place in Oklahoma. I could not sleep. And that's when I realized sound is so important. So that's the one I want to say. It's part of who I am. It changes my mood. It can help my mood. And just, imagine a world without it.
I couldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow. What has, like, music done to help you realize, like, things about your life? I don't really know how to explain it, because there's so many different styles of music, and I guess it's more just being comfortable, finding comfort in your own body. That I definitely find in music, like dancing. Because dancing, it's just you're moving all of yourselves to some wavelengths of something. To be very specific and down to the details of it. But I think it's just finding balance within myself and be comfortable even in a stressful situation. That's interesting. So you feel like it's helped you find more being more comfortable with
and calm
in your body. That's cool. Dancing is definitely freeing. In what ways does your childhood and where you grew up inspire your art?
Okay, so this is a fun fact.
Okay.
So I am from a city about the theater world, you should know that Henrik Ibsen, a playwright, was born in that city.
Oh, wow.
So we were always like having some theater performance happening. And in school, you had to watch a lot of these. So I feel like that was definitely helping, like a part of it. And then there was a period of my life where I was surrounded by people that were doing theater, and I was just sitting there as an audience member. I'm like, this is so fun. I want to do this too.
Yeah.
And then the ball started rolling, and suddenly I was on the stage myself.
That's so cool. No, damn, that's actually really cool. So does anyone in your family like involved in theater or acting?
Not at all. I'm the one.
You're the only one?
But we're all really creative.
Okay.
They all kind of sing or play an instrument or paint.
Oh, wow.
Or are just funny, like comedians. So
that's really cool.
We're a family of entertainers. That doesn't work with it.
No, I get that. That's really cool. Well, I guess you kind of already answered it, but what's something you realize about yourself, like through your art?
Ooh, well, I feel like I still want to say, or I already told you, but I'm going to say it again.
Yeah.
The hard lesson I learned is that I'm always me. And I know for some people that sounds weird in terms of acting because I'm supposed to be other people, but I find these people within myself, and then I substitute the parts that I don't necessarily know myself. So I'm still me.
Yeah.
I can never stop being myself.
Yeah.
Of course, I might have to think differently or have different opinions than what I personally would have, but then I would just find a substitution for it. So being myself, that was the toughest lesson I learned through the art.
No, that's really, that's interesting. Yeah, I feel like acting it's almost as like you're playing like another version of yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's more that you are another version of yourself than anything else. Of course, like sometimes you have to play the bad guy that goes on and kill people, and of course that's not me, but I'm still playing that person, so I have to be that person, and I find the pieces within myself that are similar.
Yeah.
Maybe they feel misunderstood. Maybe they had issues with people at school, or like similarities that I can find, and then I just figure out what I can use as a substitution.
No, yeah, that always makes it easier. If you could meet with anyone that inspires you, dead or alive, who would it be, and what would you ask them?
I'm still really curious about Jim Carrey with his interview when he said that life was going good. He was just randomly driving on Melrose Boulevard, and then he saw a psychic store, and he just pulled over, walked in, and got his reading. And this lady said that he was going to have 3 successes, and his life's going to change forever. And then it happened.
Wow.
And I'm like, that is really fascinating of a story, but I'm really curious what went down before that, like going into that store. So I figured he's a very spiritual person.
Yeah.
But he also reminded me of my dad a lot growing up.
Interesting.
In the goofy animated behavior. My dad, he's brilliant. He's like a philosopher and super smart. I had a hard time paying attention to his conversations sometimes because it's just over my head. But
yeah. Now you mentioned, like when we talked yesterday, you mentioned The Truman Show being like one of your favorite movies.
Exactly.
So like, was that before you saw that interview, I'm guessing?
Yeah, well, of course. Yeah, I watched that movie when I was maybe 9 years old. And I think that is also a reason why he's definitely a person that I'm curious to. I don't even know what questions to ask. It's just the talent and the work going down. I feel like I would have asked him about the experience of doing that movie, even though there's probably plenty interviews about it.
Well, yeah. Well, you did. So you did mention like you would ask him like about the psychic and like everything that happened before that. But do you believe in like? So does that mean you believe in like the law of attraction, manifestation?
I guess more and more. I feel like I thought I moved to America as an atheist. And I thought I was very conservative. Moving to LA, I realized I'm very much a liberal spiritual.
Okay.
So I seen ghosts in my childhood, and I thought they were people, but I got clarification right away that no, these people are not here. I'm like, okay, cool, good to know.
No, yeah,
I don't see them a lot. I only seen them once or twice, and then like had that presence, like something was weird.
Like when you were younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely believe that kids are like more in tune to like the spiritual world.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, I only say that because I've had like some experiences like that when I was a kid too. Like, but yeah, we don't have to get too deep into that. What wakes you up in the morning?
The urge to pee. No, I'm kidding. Well, waking up in the morning, it's funny because when you go to bed, they say you are your boss, setting the tasks for the employee when you wake up. And I always try to make a little list of what I'm supposed to do the next day, so I will get out of bed.
So responsible. Yeah.
And I always push my limit a little. I'm like, well, I can always sleep a little bit longer and a little bit longer. So I did sleep at least 1 hour longer today than I planned for.
Yeah.
So it's just, I try.
Yeah.
But waking up in the morning is mainly just, okay, there's another day, and I need to actually do stuff.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like you sleep longer because your body needs it, or are you just tired?
I think it's more just the psyche that is just under so much stress. I guess it will change. It's a temporary. We all been there.
Definitely. No, I definitely think like you seem like the type, just off of our like interactions, you seem like the type of person very in tune with like their body. So I feel like if you sleep an extra hour, like it's because your body needs it. But yeah, the last question is, what is a quote or saying you live by?
You don't have to grow up if you pay your bills and do your chores.
Wait, what? What do you mean by that?
So as far as you're paying your bills and you do your chores, like cleaning your apartment and doing your laundry and all that stuff, you don't really have to grow up. You can stay a child for as long as you need to.
Huh. I never thought of it that way. That's interesting. Can you say that quote one more time for just in case?
You never have to grow up if you pay your bills and do your chores.
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, well, thank you, Sophia, so much for your time today in this amazing interview. Thank you all for watching, and we'll link all of Sophia's like videos and YouTube channel down below. Again, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Or I will. But